Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604, and I have a couple of exciting new podcasts to share with you. The first is Jimmy Broadbent and Stephen Bailey. Jimmy Broadbent, he, of course, of 100K fame now, one of the biggest stars in sim racing, actually probably the biggest star in sim racing, and he was kind enough to lend his time to the podcast. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but Davey Jones, who's my co-host, along with Alex over at the Extra Mile, did a great job. Sat down with Steven and Jimmy for about an hour and just talked all things sim racing, and it was a really, really great listen. So if you find the time, head on over and give it a listen. I'll give you a little snippet now. And also, we had the chance to talk to Robert Wiesenmuller from Race Room about some exciting things going on with Race Room and their esports tournament at the Nurburgring, and just all about that event and things they did that will lead to some exciting tournaments in the future with real prizes, and kind of how that kind of esport event would translate to the real world and racing and everything like that. So a couple of very, very exciting podcasts. Great job by Davey Jones. Unfortunately, like I said, I couldn't be there, but Davey did an amazing job, and it is a very, very good interview. So you can either listen on YouTube, or we also have now the podcast on iTunes. We have it on Google Play, and it's really actually catching on. And yeah, I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and we have a lot more shows actually already recorded that we're starting to release slowly. So it is a very, very active sim racing podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, you can listen either through YouTube or audio only through iTunes and Google Play and things like that. Makes a great thing to listen to while you're driving, or while you're at the gym, or even while you're sim racing. How about that? All right, guys, here's a little clip of Stephen and Jimmy's interview with Davey Jones, and then on to Robert Wiesenmuller from Race Room. Thanks, guys.
Best in class. Was that this weekend as well? Like a Paul Ricard, maybe? I don't follow that much, so I can't.
Yeah.
I know he won at Silverstone, no, definitely.
Yeah, he won in his class at Silverstone with the other guy from McLaren, who's like the factory driver. He's the guy you see in the videos.
They had interesting gif of him actually just reaching over and twatting old Mr. Goodwin in the dick. There's a great gif. There's a great gif of it online. Goodwin just going over.
And then, what, I guess this is obvious for many, but what real world motorsports do you guys follow? And does having those available in a sim benefit racing in the real world as well?
Bailey?
For me, I follow WEC closely. I like the IMSA series, WRC, F1, BTCC, MotoGP, a whole host of things, really.
Yeah.
I'm not too fussy unless it's NASCAR. I think for sure though, it's a definite benefit for real series. Like you'll have games like Gran Turismo where people get Gran Turismo and things like that for certain cars and road cars, but then in amongst them there's race cars, and what's that from? And then go off and look it up, and that looks interesting. Then from there they go off and who knows, watch racing, do racing, I don't know, but it can only be a benefit for real series, really.
Yeah. And more so every year, I guess, as the titles become more realistic and hardware and the PC console hardware and driving gear, of course, becomes more accessible. Other than saying, and now I know what Jimmy plays because Jimmy makes his videos and so on. But other than say iRacing, what other titles or series are you currently involved with? Both of you.
I've only really regularly competed in some of the iRacing enduros lately. I did the VEC race this past weekend, but that's the first time I've done a VEC race myself since Le Mans last year. So I'm not actively taking part in series. I'll do the odd race here and there, but there's too much other stuff to do at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah. And do you do any offline racing against AI, or is there a title you might pick up and play, like F1 2017 or something like that?
In terms of against AI, the F1 games would be the only ones I'd really do it with, because it's how it's structured and it follows the real series. the WRC games as well for a little bit of fun. But
yeah,
beyond
from
that, not
Kyloton,
really.
yeah.
Not really. Yes.
Very interesting, yeah. And this is a question, I guess, for Jimmy. Jimmy, how are you now? I mean, you're really busy now, but how are you managing your time between streaming and offline? Do you have like a calendar schedule that you try and stick to, or? I mean, you're really busy now.
You can ask Bailey what happens every time I try and stick to a schedule. I'm pretty bad at it, but
yeah, same here.
I mean, bothered many times.
I have a very rough schedule where it's essentially wake up, have a coffee, work on something, be it a video on YouTube or something else, and then try and get streaming in the evening, and I'll try and do that maybe 5 or 6 days a week. And of course that does change when I have things to do. For example, today, as I was saying just before we came on, that I had to drive back enthusiastically in the Mazda that I just picked up. In my Mazda, I should say, because I was running a little bit late, and that's been my day today. I left here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I've just got back now because
where
it's all
you
far
haven't
away.
been, like, let's say, in cooperation with Mercedes or Mercedes AMG or Hankook. Now you've now started to do your own dedicated events, for example, at the Ring Arena at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, so this was the first. I mean, of course, we had a lot of help from the Nurburgring when it came to the coordination, and also a bit from the WTCR.
Yes.
Because we had them involved in the event as well. But this was the first time that we it's also something that I guess we kind of wanted to prove, that we can just go there. We're a small company, but we can go there. We can make a really nice event. That was also the aim. And of course, also to just establish it,
Yes.
as a regular thing maybe for the future.
So you have the cafe at the Nurburgring, which you said a total of 28 setups, including standard, triple screen and motion. And then I guess you have a location in Kuala Lumpur, is it so?
Yeah. In Kuala Lumpur it's a bit different because we have 2 locations in Malaysia, and it's like a franchise model,
Yes.
So we're not operating them themselves. At the Nurburgring it's our location, but basically if anyone can open a race room if they want to. If they they need to bring a little bit of money, of course, and have a proper location to do that. But that's a concept that can be exported anywhere.
Okay, so it's like a franchise model. Okay, that's interesting. Can you explain the race room events calendar at the Nurburgring? And for example, now I know it's still relatively early days in terms of setting up your own events, but the calendar for, let's say, for example, 2018, 2019, and then who are the events designed for? When you're conceptualizing these events, where is your starting point?
So, but for the future, I can say nothing, right? We will see. I hope we will do another event at the Nurburgring next year, but it's too early to say. And when it comes to these events, who are we targeting for? That's an interesting question. Because in a way, like when you have conventional esports, it kind of works in the way that you try to get the best players that you have on your game.
Yes.
And then you try to make a really big show out of it, and you kind of show it like you show the football on the television. And so you kind of the gameplay itself, that's only for a very limited amount of players, and they try to reach more people over the streams.